What are those?
What?
You're breaking your own rule.
Hey,
You're breaking your own fucking rule.
They're not even dirty. Suck it.
How can you expect anyone to follow your rules if you don't yourself follow them? What are you, the White House? That's political humor. Alright, so Ian posed a good question on one of my videos. You should make a video about the house that you used from the album cover for nostalgia. I've always wondered what the story of that place was and the people in the picture. Originally, the album wasn't going to be called Nostalgia at all. I don't remember what I was going to title it now, but I know up until like that week, it had a different title and a different cover. I do remember the original cover. The original cover of Nostalgia was this picture. But I had composed 99% of the songs on that record from my bedroom in that house. And when the house was foreclosed upon, I wanted to close the book on that period of my life.
Because we're 4 minutes away and we come here once every 6 months.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to use this picture instead. The group of people in that picture were some of my childhood buddies, none of which do I talk to anymore, really. You know, you grow up, you move on, you get different friends, you lose old friends, you lose contact, stuff like that. Even though there's no excuse for it because the fucking internet. That picture was taken in the early spring of 2009, which was the beginning of the darkest period of my life. From 2009 to 2011, everything that could possibly go wrong did. I didn't think I was ever going to come out of that period of my life, at least not completely unchanged, which was true because I don't recognize the person in those photos. Like, it seems like I was a different human. I'm so far removed from it now that it definitely seems like I'm looking at somebody else. My high school girlfriend lived right down there. So the album was called Nostalgia. I released it. And to date, every musical thing I've ever tried to do has been trying to reach that goal. I've never been able to capture lightning in a bottle the same way ever again. Admittedly, I don't think any of my records since then even hold a candle to that one. That's not to say that I'm not okay with their release or I don't like them. I'm satisfied with them, but Nostalgia is the only one that I can go back and listen to and still find myself proud of the work that I'd done. Maybe the next one will be the one. I don't know. But that house was super important to me. I lost my virginity in that house. All of my greatest childhood memories happened in that house. I fell in love in that house for the first time. Fell out of love in that house for the first time. I can't even go over to that town anymore because the whole place feels like a goddamn graveyard. We did that today specifically for this video after I got that question from Ian. It just feels weird. It's like I can't go there without experiencing a certain degree of loss. All of the neighbors have either died or moved away. There's a whole new group of kids there living their lives, which, you know, that's the way it goes, you know. But to say that I don't miss that house would be a criminal understatement. This is what it looks like now. Can't say that I'm a huge fan of what they've done to the place. They tore down the tree in the front yard, which was depressing, and they cut down the pine tree in the back, which that was my favorite tree ever. A few years ago, I got the balls to knock on their door, and I asked them if I could see what they'd done to the place, because I'd explained that I lived there, you know, for 20 years, and because they know my grandparents, I thought they'd be okay with it anyway, but they totally fucking weren't. Like, no, and they like turned me away. So getting this shot was even a little nerve-wracking for me.
That was a waste of fucking time right there.
Why?
Can't find shit.
No more vending machines.
Yeah, they got rid of it.
Makes me sad.
We are replacing some of the records on the wall. Dakota made this when I was in Pennsylvania. So we're replacing some of the less desirable records up here. And this motherfucker wanted to put Bill Cosby as the centerpiece. But literally right here. But then every time I make my fucking videos, you're gonna have Cosby in the background like, no one will take me seriously. Can we get rid of Aerosmith too?
No!
God, I fucking hate Aerosmith. Okay, let's see what other questions we got here. The Zach Attack asked me, what's your earliest memory? It's kind of uneventful, but my town, way before I was born, used to do this thing called the street fair, and they would block off the entirety of Main Street for like 14 blocks, and it would just become this festival. There'd be Ferris wheels and corn dogs and rides. By the time I was born, it had been relegated to a block or two off the river. And they had one when I was a little kid that had this little train ride that you could go across the whole thing, you know, riding a train, and they had a useless wheel that made kids feel like they were navigating or whatever. I remember doing that. What are you doing?
Trying to find a cord.
Anyway, so I recall specifically my dad being next to me and me feeling like if I didn't steer this train properly that I was going to kill myself and the rest of the kids on board. So I was steering it with incredible precision, or what I assumed was incredible precision at the time. R-Wing Aaron64 says, who's your most powerful celebrity inspiration? Not just in your art, but one that inspires your daily life. I don't know if I put anybody on a pedestal like that at 29. Historically speaking, I would have said Kurt Cobain. He influenced my early upbringing significantly. In fact, I've never admitted this before, but I went through this period as a teenager where I would look at things through the scope of, is this something that I think Kurt Cobain would approve of? Which is really fucking stupid. I don't know when I snapped out of that or why I did it to begin with. But that's who I would say probably had the biggest bearing on my existence as far as celebrities go. Like even now, there's this thing where like Rebecca, for instance, if you were to ask her who's your top 3 celebrity crushes, she would be able to list names off.
Okay. Top 3 women would be Kate Winslet, Rihanna, maybe Mila Kunis.
But every time somebody asks me that question, I have an incredibly hard time doing so.
That's because all of your crushes are porn stars.
That's not true.
Yes, it is, and you know it's true.
Not true. I have no. It's easier for me to pick out porn stars because there's several people that like if I can't find anything else that works for me, I know they will. It's not a crush.
Yeah, but it's kind of sad that
they have a utility.
You can throw out your favorite porn stars, but not your favorite celebrities.
I can't find videos of my favorite celebrities getting dicked down.
So that's what it takes. That's what it takes for you to have a connection to them?
No, I'm saying though that they don't have, like, celebrities don't have a utility beyond like, oh, they're attractive. Porn stars, they serve a function. I'm saying they have a way more relevant position in my life than a sexy celebrity who's just eye candy in a movie. And I know now I'm going to have to list off my favorite porn stars, because that's going to be the whole fucking comment section otherwise.
I know what they are.
My favorite porn stars, my go-to girls, is April O'Neil, Faye Reagan, and Sasha Grey. Those are my top 3.
You have a problem.
Short Bus Mooner commented, have you ever thought of producing music videos? Even on the local level, there's money to be made. I do music videos. I live in Southeast Iowa, so the opportunity doesn't come as often as I'd like, but I've definitely done music videos. I did one just a couple months ago for a band called Stumptown. I traveled to Seattle a few years ago to do a music video for the band Not. And I'll probably be doing that again relatively soon. And I've done rap music videos. I would love to do more. I want to focus more on video. It's way more fun to me at this point. Right now, I'm more into video than I am to photography, which is weird, because it's been a long time since that was the case.
Wow.
Stop. Kuv commented, how has your passion for photography been affected by the mass adoption of photography in society? Social media, cell phones, etc. Everyone is a photographer essentially now. I just feel like I was ahead of the curve, which makes me feel good, you know? Back when I was in school, I had a little camera that I had in my pocket. I didn't have a phone for the longest time. I didn't get my first phone until 2012. But I had a camera in my pocket all the time. I got photos in high school like this one, and this one, and this one. And I was always the weird kid as a result. Like, it was the weirdest shit in the world that I just had a camera with me at all times. Now, you're a weirdo if you don't have a camera in your pocket. Everyone is constantly having their phones out. So I'm not the weird one anymore. It's just been adopted by society, which is, I think, cool. My passion hasn't deviated at all. In fact, I think with all the competition that exists now, it's made me way more obsessive about it. Because I don't want anyone to be better than me. So I have to stay at my game all the time. For me, it's not just a matter of getting a good photo or making a good video or making a good song, whatever. I want to be the best at everything I do. I have this hyper-competitive streak. Wow.
Are you out of focus?
I want to see me. I'm in focus. What up, you motherfucker? McKenna asks, what gives you your individuality? What struggles have you turned to strengths? I feel like the second part of that question, you'd have to ask the people actually in my life. I don't think I'm an authority to answer it. Why is that a boo? She's booing me.
No, I'm not. You didn't hear me boo.
Yeah, you were pantomiming it.
No, I wasn't.
Yes, you were. As far as what gives me my individuality, I don't really think in those terms. Like, I don't ever do anything just to be unique. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if that is your goal, then there's no substance behind anything that you do. I just do things I like to do, and I think that's what makes me me. I'm sure there are 100,000 other people that, you know, mirror everything that I do, mirror all of my beliefs, all of my philosophies, that are pretty much me in a different person's skin. I have no bones about that. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't really look at life as a pursuit of being an individual. I think that just doing what I do is what makes me me. You know, and if it's not an individualistic thing, if there's hundreds of thousands of people doing the exact same thing at the exact same time, it doesn't matter because it's still who I am. To be anything else would be false. And then even if I was an individual, it wouldn't matter because I still wouldn't be me. Like, you get caught in a web. Danielle asks, what kind of photos do you like to take? Do you prefer to take pictures of people or of scenery? It really depends on the day. My two favorite things to take photos of are beautiful women and really ran down architecture. It's the truth. Why are you booing me?
Why can't I boo you now?
It fucks me up. Like, I'm sitting here trying to answer a question. In my peripheral vision, I can see her going, boo. I mean, I deviate from that a lot. I do a lot of stuff but those are my two big ones. And it just really depends on the day. Like yesterday I woke up and all I wanted to do was take pictures of abandoned houses. So I just drove around looking for abandoned houses. It didn't even really occur to me to do portraits that day. But the other day, we were watching the AFC playoff game, and we did just like a random portraiture shoot with a little see-through silk thing. I don't really know how to explain it. The photos are kind of weird, but here's one of them, here's one of them, here's one of them. So it really just depends on the day. And I think like it's very obvious because even yesterday, we did a few portraits, but even in those portraits, what's predominant is the architecture behind the person in the photo. I don't know what causes that. Like it's just, I'll wake up and that's what I want to shoot, so that's what I shoot. Today, I'm feeling more portrait work than I am buildings or structures or landscapes. So I'm probably going to end up doing that for my photo of the day. Well, this is the last question. Ethan White commented, is the creative process the same or different for whichever medium you're creating in? It's all just kind of chaos. I'd say the closest would be my photography and my music, because I never really know what's going to come out. It just happens. It's very rare that I'll wake up with a melody in my head and I'll try to discover what that melody is. Usually, I just feel like making something and I'll just throw notes together until I come up with something. There's no process to it at all. And in fact, I've gone out of my way not to learn proper music theory because then it becomes a formula and I really don't want it to be that. So I've gone out of my way to not learn about music theory. And the same thing goes for photography. A lot of my methods are the exact opposite of the ones that they would teach you in photography school. I didn't go to photography school, but I know that because I've read enough books on photography to realize I'm not doing shit the right way. And not just that, but a lot of commercial work I've done, you have to follow the book So I mean, I know how to do it, but I intentionally go out of my way to not do things the way you should. There's no formula to any of it. It just kind of happens. When it comes to videos, that's the only structured thing I do, because you have to be structured on it. I know exactly what I'm going in with and how I'm going to cut it. And even with this video, I know the exact sound effect I'm going to use to transition between one question to the next. It's this one. So there you guys go. There's my video for today. Thanks, Ian, because if you wouldn't have commented the comment that you left, I wouldn't have done any of this. So really, Ian is responsible for this entire video's existence, which just goes to show you the importance of the comment section on YouTube. So if you liked those responses and you'd like to see more, I am going to answer about 20 more questions on my Patreon. So all you gotta do to see the rest of the responses, to read through them, see the photos I did today, all you have to do is become my patron. You can do that down below. You know what? We'll just sit here and wait for you. I'm gonna make myself gradually out of focus. Gradually out of focus. When I return, that's enough time. That's all you needed to be my patron. Do it. Give me control. Do it, Michael. 1, 2, 3. This video was brought to you by my patrons. You can check out the link below if you like this kind of content and would like to see it continue.